put an attorney general that never took control of the Justice Department, Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions recused himself, which he shouldn't have done, or he should have told me. Even my enemies say that Jeff Sessions should have told you that he was going to recuse himself, and then you wouldn't have put him in. He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this?
President Trump slamming Attorney General Jeff Sessions for recusing himself in the Russia probe and failing to lead the DOJ. Sessions firing back, quote, I took control of the Department of Justice the day I was sworn in. While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. Here now is Jason Chaffetz, former House Oversight Committee chair and a Fox News contributor. I know that you've been really critical of Jeff Sessions in the past.
Yes.
I actually think that pushback is what President Trump is after. He doesn't like wimpy people.
It was a nice comment, but it's coming way too late. I think he's one of the most ineffective attorney generals we've ever had in this nation. Donald Trump was right. He should have told the president before he took that job that he would have to recuse himself. A lot of legal analysts have said he should have never done that. It was a counterintelligence operation that was going on, not a criminal investigation, and so you have nothing to recuse yourself from. He has not pursued a number of prosecutions that certainly members of Congress, myself, wanted to see him pursue. Like Brian Pagliano, he refused to appear before Congress twice, even though he was issued a subpoena, and he still wouldn't prosecute that. And he told me, eyeball to eyeball, that he was not going to do it because it was too close to Hillary Clinton. That's the side of political consideration that I heard him in person, right face to face, that he said he was making. So what he's saying there, I don't believe him. I really don't believe him.
So why do we continue down this path? You know, I mean, he's obviously getting a ton of heat. Jeff Sessions isn't willing to step aside. The president hasn't fired him, I guess, because what reason do you think he hasn't done it?
I really think it's because of the Mueller probe. I think the president has actually been very disciplined in just staying arm's length. I mean, he is the constitutional officer that's supposed to be running the Department of Justice. He has great latitude to do so as the president. He's backed by the Constitution.
So you think that's why he hasn't fired him?
Oh, I think the moment that the Mueller probe is done, I think Jeff Sessions will be booted out and on his way back to Alabama.
We haven't noticed the president to be terribly disciplined in the past, though. So especially when it comes to Twitter and other things, I mean, it seems like he goes with his gut. So I don't know. I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but it's hard to attribute it to that person.
But when he deals with world leaders, I think he's very disciplined. When he's dealing with this situation with the Department of Justice, I think he has been very disciplined. He's been calling out the Attorney General. I heard one story, I don't know if it's true, but I heard it from somebody who was in the room, that they were at a cabinet meeting, going around the table, and the president was lauding compliments to each member of the cabinet and just skipped over Jeff Sessions. I mean, that should be a signal to him that he's not happy with how the Attorney General, I don't think Congress is happy with how the Attorney General is acting. They can't seem to get the documents that are duly owed the Congress. I mean, there's all kinds of conflicts. I don't know. I mean, he's just sitting there. He's there in name only. I mean, name a big case where he's really involved. He gets involved in some immigration stuff, but the issues of the day, the FBI is in chaos.
Yeah.
Most of the senior leadership is gone. They've either had to be fired, or they've been reassigned, or they've been dismissed, or they've quit. I mean, they're in chaos right now, and the Attorney General is nowhere.
There is a pattern with the president, I think, and you tell me if I'm going wrong here, where he's tried to reward the people who supported him early on.
Yes.
He's tried to reward, he thinks he's trying to be loyal. You supported me when no one thought I was going to get elected. You weren't one of these Johnny-come-latelys. But then those people, it kind of ends up biting him in the end. And I think it's because the people who supported him early were kind of desperate on their own. You know, they were in a position where they, you know, I mean, you look Chris Christie, or, you know, like some of these people that came along, when he rewards them, it ends up biting him because maybe they weren't kind of the most standard.
It was interesting because during the campaign, Donald Trump was not seeking the endorsement of the Washington establishment, but there came a point, it was a pivotal part in the primary, and Jeff Sessions stepped up and rallied and supported Donald Trump when he needed it. And I don't think the president really interviewed anybody else for the Attorney General's position except Jeff Sessions. But it ends up that not only did he mislead him by not telling him he was going to recuse himself, but he's been terribly ineffective in everything that he's done.
Another thing is, if you look at how law enforcement works, or, whether it's the district attorney or whatever in New York, where President Trump comes from, we're used to this attack dog that's sort of there at the side of the governor or whoever the leader is, or mayor, that sort of thing. And I think that the president was envisioning something along those lines, or even like you have a Bobby Kennedy, like you have somebody who's your wingman, who's your attack dog, and it hasn't worked out like that. Is it fair of him to want something like that if that is what he's after?
So I wrote a book. It's called The Deep State's coming out, giving a little plug for that. But I recount a situation where we talk about this very thing, because that's exactly what I think he was looking for in Jeff Sessions, but it's not what he's getting from Jeff Sessions.
And real quick, your book is terrific because people say there is no deep state, and you're someone who is there and experienced it firsthand, and you give actual examples. So if you want ammunition out there when somebody tells you there's no deep state, that's something Trump is making up. Buy the book. You've got all the details.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We spent a lot of time putting it together, and there's some parts in there about Jeff Sessions that he's not going to like.
Woo! All right, that's a good tease. Jason Chaffetz, thank you.